Hello friends and welcome back. In today's session we will learn the visual effects. In the visual effect we create a effect with the particles with the PF source or S spray, snow, P array, super spray. These are the particle emitter. So, let us move with the software. Here we have the interface of 3ds Max. Press here standard primitives and go to the particle system. Here we have the PF source, spray, snow, P array. First we will discuss this PF source. Make it in the top view, go to the perspective. This is we called a emitter of the particles. These all are particles emitter, and we drag this time, we can see there are some particles here. We can control these particles from the modify panel. Here we have the logo size, emitter icon or logo size. This one is logo, and in which shape we want, rectangle, box, circle or sphere, and the length and width of this emitter. This is the viewport settings, that in render we want 100% and in viewport we want to see these particles 50%. If we render this, we got the output like this. This is PF source. This is a particle view of this source. We can control the particles from this particle view. Drag this down. Here we have the render. If I put here a bounding box and render, we can see the boxes, geometry, and none. We take here boxes, and visible, if I take here 50, then render, it's to be 50% show in the render. These are the render, and this birth is what that we have to start the particles from 0 frame till the 30 frame. It is going to end. This PF source not emit the particles from the 30th frame. I extend this to 50, then we can see the particles till 50, and then amount, how much particles we want. I increase this and render this out. See here output. Here we have the position icon, lock emitter, and how we want our particles on pivot and on vertex of this emitter, or on edges. This emitter emit the particles from the edges, surface, from the mid surface, and the volume. By default it's a volume. This is the total, and the speed. This is the speed of the particles. With the speed we can control the height of the particles too. See the height. And this is the variation between the two particles. If I took this render, put here a variation, take this window, and then here we can see the variation in the particles. And the rotation, random 3D rotation, random horizontal, and the world space, speed space, speed space follow, and with the new we can change the position of the particles. If I press here a new, then render, you can see the change in the position of the particles. Close these windows, and the shape, tetra, vertex, cube, and on display on viewport we want text, dots, you can see here, circles, bounding box, geometry, diamonds, boxes. These are for display for the viewport. Take here are bounding boxes, visibility 100%. If I put here show IDs, then this shows the IDs of each particles. You can see the text here, but these are only the viewport settings. So this is PF source. We can create many things with the PF source because we have the more controls with this PF source. Now the spray, reset the max, then click here, standard primitives, go to the particle system. Here we have the spray. Take a spray and assign with the grid. You can see here with the every particle we got a key from 0 to 100 because it's used in animation. If we see the render, there is a very small size of this particles. To increase this, go to the modify. Here we have the drop size. You can see in this render. Again, speed, with the speed we got the height. This is for viewport, that how you have to show in the viewport drops, dots, text. This is just for a viewport, and for a render you want a facing or a tetrahedron. This is tetrahedron and this is facing. Again we can control the timing 0 to 30. If I put this unmarked, in the render you cannot see the particles. Put here a constant, and on constant you can see the particles with the emitting. And the emitter width, length, and to hide the emitter, viewport counts, render counts. I put here in render counts 1000. Then we can see in the render there is a lot of particles. Take here 100. Now we can see the there are less particles. So this is spray. With this we can create many things like water or water drops. And the third one is a snow. Here we have a snow. Create the snow, sign with the grid, move with the perspective. And we have the same as the spray. Control the settings, go to the modify, then viewport count, render count, flake size. This is again only for viewport. Speed, and for the render we have the 6 point. This is the 6 point which we call star, triangle, and the facing. Again we have the constant or 0 to 30, emitter width and length, and to hide the emitter, simply we can put any image or any scene behind this snow, then render this out. We can give the textures with this 6 point, take any color, put a fall off and diffuse, take here a blue, put here a Fresnel, increase the specular and glossiness, you can see in the render on each 6 point we have placed a texture. And we can put an image behind this snow. Open the environment effects, environment map, bitmap, go to the drive and the maps, by default maps, which is to be with the software. Here we have, I just put on the behind of one image, and if we play this, so with the particles we can create many things. This is the snow, and the fourth one is P array, we set max. But our most controlled particle is PF source. We have the more controls. You can make many things with this PF. So let's move with the P array. Create on top view. This is the emitter. If we drag this timeline, we don't have the particles here. So we take object, go to the standard primitives, take here one plane, take a object on this plane, take a teapot, any object, select this P array, go to the modify list. Here we have the basic parameters, particle array. Here we have the object base emitter. If I press here, you can select the object. Now the particles emit from this object. Here we have the particle formation over entire surface along visible edges at all vertex. At all faces. Put here entire surface. You have to increase the size of the particles. This percentage of particles is for viewport. Here we can see the viewport display dot mesh text. Put here a mesh. Then the speed. The size. To emit the particles, we have to play with the many settings. Now we can see in the render, we can see the particles. Increase more size. And the variation between the particles. The speed. Again we have the particle type, standard particle, meta particles, object fragmentation, fragments, instant geometry. We select here a meta particles. We have here the meta particles parameters. In the variation, put here a standard particle, take here a cube, I am searching for effect. Under this we have effects, bubble motion, you can put the texture on this particles. I select this one, so I get the particle of this teapot. Select the particle, say here it give us a blast effect. and we have many things to control and create a good effect. Here we have the rotation and collision, spin time, variation, and see in the render, and the phase, degree, can rotate the particle with the degree. So, this is P array. The fifth one is super spray. We set the max. Go to the particle system. Here we have the super spray. Assign with the grid. You can see in the viewport, this emitter gives a spray in the straight line. We have to increase the size of this particles to see in the viewport. Go to the modify panel. This is the image icon size, emitter size. To hide the emitter, speed, variation. Here we have the particle size. The variation, here we have the off axis, how we want spray, and the spread, off plane, and the spread, this off axis for x axis and this for y axis, and we can animate it too. Put here a auto key, press here a key, on 20 frame, a spread like this, put here a key, and on 40th frame of the auto key. See the effect on 20th frame and on 40th frame. So, we can animate the particles. Again we have the more settings with the super spray, viewport display, percentage of particles to be shown on viewport. Spread, variation, limit start and stop. I take here 60, it's going to be spread till 60. Again the particle size, variation, and this grow for and fade for. We see here on timeline it's grow from 10 and fade from 50 and stop on 60. As I put here that emit till 60th frame. Then particle type, standard particle, meta particle, or instant geometry. Can feel here a splash feel. Then again meta particle parameters, can put here a texture, take any color. It gives the feel like splash feel with the chocolate. So, this is super spray. So, in today's section we will discuss the PF source. As in the visual effects we have the more control in the PF source and the spray and the snow. With this snow we can create the snow, and P array for use for making the water or drops, and the super spray. With this we have create a effect of splash. So, this is the end of visual effects.